first real quick because there's actually still people coming in. I'm like, this is the most people have ever been on the call. I'm really excited.
I sent it to like every group that I was in. You were like, tell anyone who needs to come. I'm like, okay, sure.
No, yeah. And Canva is such a thing that I feel like so many people see like other coaches put things on their stories and they're always like, oh, I want to do that, or I want to be able to do that, or like at least just know a little bit more about it. So for anyone who is not like on my team directly or Caitlin's team, I'm Maggie. And I just thought this would be a really good training to do. And it's not even going to be normally I would actually make slides on Canva for a training or for a team call, but because Canva is very much like, you need to be able to do it to be able to understand it, and you need to actually just continue trying it on your own. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to like show you any slides. I'm going to actually show you where you can find things, how to make a copy of stuff, and then how you guys can kind of change things to your own style, just because I found also that Canva is it's a really unique way for you to showcase like what you're about and your brand and your style. So like maybe you're more about like nude colors and like really fancy writing, or maybe you're more about like bold and colorful and things like that. So like it's a really good way for you to be able to brand your own style when you're, making your own color schemes and different things like that. So I'm just going to keep my thing for participants open because there's still people hopping on. But what I'm going to do is just share my screen and kind of just like walk you guys through it. So let me do that. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can see this. Okay, cool. So first, everyone would just have their own Canva account. Super easy. It's free. There is obviously a version of it, Canva Pro, that I have yet to get just because I don't think I need it yet. Eventually, I probably will because there are some really cool stickers and images and things that you can get. But you will go into just canva.com. You'll make your own account. Super easy. In order for you to find things to make, so I'm just going to kind of walk you through, like if you wanted to create a design, you go over here and there are so many different things. I find that I use Instagram posts and Instagram stories the most, just because, the story, when you do Instagram story, it comes up in the layout that you would have for an Instagram story. And over here, there are different like templates that you can use. I try to find something that's super basic, and it also depends on what you're looking for. Like if you're looking to make something that's like, one of these like this or that things, you can put it in here and then you just go in and you can change the names of whatever this is. So this or that random preferences, like this would be a good thing to put in your stories just to kind of get engagement from your followers. And then at the bottom, like if you change it, you could then write your handle. So it's like, made by, I would put like @HamFamFitness, so that anyone else that was using this would be able to then see HamFamFitness, and then maybe they would come and see my page, or they would then tag me and then something along those lines. But so for story, this is here. And there's like, you can see down here, like there's ones that say pro, and then there are other ones that will say free, like these, like this one here, like this, and there's 7 different things. So you can do this. And then here, all you have to do if you're trying to use this, you just go in, if you don't like these colors or this text, why is it not letting me change it? Oh, it's locked. Hold up real quick. What's happening here?
Is that a paid one?
No, it shouldn't be. It said free, 1 of 7, unless I'm like, psych, it was free. It was not free. So never mind. But that's all about coronavirus. That's not what I want to be on my page right now. So let me just go ahead and delete that. But anyway, so I'm going to actually show you something first. So this is what my page looks like. So what I feel like mostly need to know is like, this is the one I just created for March. These are my March story slides. And what I did was I screenshotted some that I saw Ashley Smith do, and I kept them on my phone and I used them as a guideline. Her color scheme was completely different than this, but this is like similar to where she had her picture. This is kind of the same similar text that she used. And then I just did it this way. So what you can do is if you ever get somebody's like link or something like that, you always want to make a copy. Make a copy. Please do not be that person that goes in and like changes all of the Canva slides for the whole team. So for example, what I mean by that is I'm going to go to the Inspiration Crew Google Drive. So I'm going into my drive, and all of you guys should have access to this. You just go to Inspiration Crew. Most of the slides that you guys would want to be looking for where you're like creating things for your next upcoming group are from the Fit Club. So I'm going to go into the Fit Club folder, and then I'm just going to go to 2021. Actually, there was one I know was in here from 2020. I looked at it earlier. So I just wanted to show you guys. So you find one. I'm going to go into the September Fit Club one. And then here where it says IG stories, you just go to challenge group options. So these are here. Normally what they do is they have a link where you can actually, and I'll show you both, but this, what I would do here is I would just download this to my computer. Please, like whenever you're doing Canva, I think doing it over your computer is so much easier. Make it on your computer, and then use the app in your phone to just download it to your phone really quick. Like once it's saved here, it'll just automatically go to the app that's on your phone so that you can go to it, you click download on your phone, it automatically goes to your camera roll. So you're not having to like go back and forth. But this here, you can just download. So what I'm gonna do is show you, like they give you a couple different options so you can pick and choose, like maybe you don't like the other one. But these are ones that you, because it's a downloaded image, you will not be able to change the text on it. So I'm gonna show you the difference between the two. But so I just downloaded those. So now if I wanted to make a new one using those slides, I would say create a design, go to Instagram story. Those are in my downloads. So you come here to uploads and you have to upload media. So I go to my device, my downloads, and these two pictures that I just did are now here. So there's one of them. I'll download the other one. And now you have them here. So I can take this one and you just slide it over and it just fits straight into that image. Okay, and then here, like add page, this is if you wanted to duplicate the page, if you for some reason needed two of these, add page, and now I just take my other one and I would put, like when you put it in here and it just fills up the whole page. Drag it and hold it over like what I just did if you're looking to get it to be the entire background. But if you don't do that, it'll like just show up here, and you can also do this, but there's, if you know it's going to be your whole background, just you'll be able to see the difference, and I'll show you again in a different way. So if you have ones where you download like this, you're not going to be able to change the text because that is an actual picture. So now let me go back and I will show you the one where like if you were to actually have to make a copy of it so that you don't technically ruin it, you know, for anyone else trying to use that specific one. So I think it was the August one where Canva templates, posting guide. So Instagram story templates. So here, click to access, because obviously these are all ones that like somebody has created for us. So you just go to that, and then when you say use template, this is mine, I'll use it for here. Use template, it will bring it straight to your Canva. Like it'll just link it straight to it. So now what was already created is here for you, okay? And you can see that this is here. Now, if you don't make a copy and you go in here and you start changing all these images and you start changing the text to say like, you know, maybe you don't want it to say back to school, maybe you want it to say September strong instead or something like that, then that is what everybody else will see. So what you want to do first and foremost always is go to file and just go to make a copy. And it will just bring the same exact thing there for you, except now it's your own copy and you can change the title of it up top here. So like this is like a copy of copy. I honestly, sometimes I'll make 2 copies just to make sure that I'm not messing it up for everybody else in that folder. So now you can change it to whatever you want yours to be. So like if you want it to be like September story slides, back to school, whatever, you can change it. So now it's your own, so that when you look at your Canva feed, that's going to be there. So this is where you can, if you are like, ooh, I don't really know if I like this very much in terms of like the background or whatever. Actually, let me just keep this over here on the side. this is where you can change the picture. So like this is the background that was chosen for here. Like this, girl, it's time to get back to the basics. For me personally, I wouldn't say girl like in my story like that. So I would just take it out. I also am all about using some sort of like different font. So you would then change the font out. The font is here. You can use, like, I would probably get something that's a little bit more eye-catching, make it a little bit bigger. Like you can, this is all about where I said before about like you using your brand and how, you know, what you want yours to be. Like, I feel like if you look at my stories and stuff, you'll see that I use the black and white text a lot in mine. So that, and that's like a uniform thing just because you want, you know, there to be some sort of uniform, I was gonna say uniformity. What am I trying to think of? Whatever. You want that sort of vibe like on your page. Like you don't want things to be scattered and using like all these crazy different texts and things like that. So if you like to use, you know, just white text or like a white bold one and then italicized one underneath that, do that. But this is where you get to kind of make it your own. So here there's already an image. If you don't like this frame, delete it out. Over here on the side where it says elements, there are all these different things. Like these are the ones I've recently used, but then you can come down here. There's different lines. So maybe I want to use a different kind of frame and I want mine to look more like a phone, right? So now this is here and you can come in, you can change the size of it. You can do, you know, whatever you want with this. So now this is here. And whenever you see the cloud thing like that, that means that a picture can go straight into it. So I'm going to go to my uploads and I'll just put a picture of these hearts in it that I already had. So you drag it over and that would go straight into that. So if I wanted it, actually, I guess maybe I'll do this. So like it's a picture of like my group, right? So I then could put a picture of myself in here, time to get back to basics. Maybe I don't like this background, so I can click the background. Or maybe I don't want it to be that, you know, bright or whatever. This over here, these are like all little tools. This is kind of, if you think of like Microsoft Word or something like that, they're all different tools for you to use for, you know, there's different things for effects. I don't really use the effects all that much, but there's filters. So you can pick like different filters of things. I would rather just have none, but there are some things that you can't actually change the color of. So coming over to see if there's a different thing for your filter, that will work. And I'll show you again in a minute what I mean by that. Adjusting here, brightness and stuff, I don't really ever have to use that. If there's something that you need to crop, like maybe you want to move it over so that you can see a little bit more of the crayons that way, you can go ahead and do that. If you want to flip it, there's things here so you can flip it so the crayons are on that side or upside or vertical, whatever. Like all these things are here for you to kind of just play around with. And then this here, where you see this is, you'll see a lot of people using this for like transparency. So like this is also like where it can maybe like fade out a little bit. So for example, the what I did here with my story slides for this, for my March ones, this was like this when I first started with it. But I took it down to the transparency of, you know, whatever I wanted with it. And then what I did was you can just copy this, like you just do Control C. And if I wanted to make, if I wanted to duplicate the page, if I wanted to just put an extra page, I can just Control paste it now and it's already there for me and I can just start adding text onto it. So you'll realize that you can just copy and paste like the background, and that's what I did for my whole thing, just so it was the same exact shade and color the whole way through. And I'm also going to show you that I did not actually do this myself, like the wording and stuff like that. That was from a previous one that I took, and I change it every single month to something different, which again, I'll show you. But let me go back to the September story slide. So this is here, that transparency thing allows you to do that. This, like, we're going back to school, and I think the way that it works, so sometimes, you know, when you're looking at someone's stories and it's like one thing comes up and the same thing stays and then there's something else that pops up right underneath it, that's what's happening here. So it's like they just duplicated this page and then put more text on it, and then they duplicated this page and put this text on it. So it's like you're seeing this again, and then you're seeing this. But I noticed, because I'm ridiculously OCD, that this background is different from this one. The crayons are not as far over. So like for me, I just noticed that, and like that's something that I would have gone in and fixed. But again, like if you wanted to change this to not be blue, go ahead and make it pink if that's what you want for your color scheme, or if you know, you pick whatever it is that you want on here to change. The background itself is going to stay this just simply because that's what it was. However, that's where the crayons were. So I would have ended up moving this. But here you come in, if this change, you don't want this to be virtual boot camp, you can change it to whatever else you're naming your group, or whatever, you know, your coach's group is, or whatever it is that you're inviting to. And then this, like, you can change whatever if you don't want this to say this, go ahead and just change it out. Like, you know, like, come join me. Obviously don't just say that, but, for time's sake, that's what I'm going to put now. If you don't like the font that's there already, go in, and there are loads of different fonts here, and just kind of pick what you want: bold, not bold, sizing, left center, right center. If you want it, you know, bolded, this is for the letter. If you want the letters to be further apart, if you want the line height, like if there were two different rows, if you wanted there to be more space in between them. So like this one, for example, the line height, you could make it further apart, or you could make them really close to one another. It kind of just depends on what you have, like, text wise in there. But I would say the biggest takeaway of what I just showed you is when you're in someone's folder, like in the Google Drive or something like that, make a copy first, so that you are not, you know, ruining whatever else somebody else had already done, or, you know, something like that. So what I've actually started doing, for like my coaches, or like, I'm going to start adding things into this Google Doc that I've created for my team. I'm going to just start putting in, and you'll see, in my, where is it? In my home here, things that I use, like on the regular. I have like my own personal one, and then I have one that says like copy of. So if somebody asks for this and they're like, hey, do you have that bubble tracker? I'll send them one that says copy of, or I'll go to mine and I'll make a copy first really quick, because I can share this now with anyone. So like my team, if somebody was like, I really need that bubble sheet so that I can make it my own, because I've always said to my girls, you might have different goals than somebody else. So if you can't do 20 new invites a day, go into this sheet and go ahead out and just delete, like, you know, however many of them that you need to delete. If yours is only 3 a day, delete all those bubbles until there's only 3 a day. And then there's things here like this. You just saw me move that, the position of it. You can move it forward or back, but I'm going to show you how to share it with somebody. So here, there's just a button that says share. And then you can change it here to what you want it to be. Do you want somebody to be able to edit it? Do you want somebody to be able to use it as a template, or do you just want them to be able to view it? So if you give somebody the option to edit and they don't click file, make a copy or whatever, then they're not going to be able to do any. They're going to be able to change it, whatever, and you can't like go back and rechange what they did unless they make a copy. So just be super aware of that. And then there's things like, okay, so this one here is another really good example of what I did for tonight's team call picture. Is I had this, this is just let me just do a new page so you can see. This is a logo where I went in here, and this was the original logo. Like, I liked the look of it. I like the simplicity of it. So let me move this. Why is this not letting me go? Oops. This, I would just like go in here, and you can just change the text. Like, I would just say team call. If you wanted to then make the lines further apart so that you could then write something else. If you want to add new text, you just go to text. There's text over here on the side. If you don't feel if you're like, oh, I want to look and see if there's one that I really like this. Sometimes I would do this. I would take this out because I liked the look of this. I would just change this word, like CANVA Training. I would then make it white. I would make the font smaller so that it was here instead. And then like you can just kind of move it around. If you don't like this background color, I'm taking that out. You just delete things. You can change wording of it, whatever you want. But this is like the basic of it. So now what I did before with the picture, if I don't like this background color, you can go here and maybe I want to use this one. And so here what I did was I had a photo that I wanted to add over top of it. So I think I did like flower. If there's a flower here, like you can see again, there's ones that are free, there's ones that are not. This is the one that I chose that was free. So I put it over it, right? And you can, again, drag it to make your size, whatever you want to do with it. You can change the angle of it, move it around. Now you see it's like in front of all these words. Just go to position and you can put it behind, and then you can make the transparency of it so that it's like a little bit lower in the background. And then this you can also, I think if it's a different color, it would probably stand out a little bit more. But you get the idea. You can change it here. So like now that's that color here, and maybe I want that to be a little bit more green. I just go back up and I change the transparency on it. And again, all this stuff, you can go in, you can change the colors for literally every single little detail thing that's on here. If you don't like the images that are here, just go to good old Google. And you could put in, say I wanted like a hibiscus. Like I knew in my mind, I have to have a hibiscus on this picture today. So then you just go to images and you can download, just you go and you save the image so that it gets downloaded on your computer. I'm just gonna save it like that. And then you go back to whatever picture it was that you were doing and you just go to uploads. So here's where all my pictures are that I upload, like new coaches or people I'm shouting out or my national wake up call stuff. You upload that picture of the flower that you want, like you want that hibiscus flower. And then it's here, and then you can kind of like, if I wanted to take that one away, just click it, delete. That one is now there. I have it, you can make it, they have the lines to make it so that you can see like what's centered, what's not. My position, I'm going to put it backwards behind everything. And now I'm going to change out the transparency of it so that it's a little bit different. Clearly not as cute as my other one, but you kind of get the idea of you can do this with anything with background pictures. So like for me, this picture was something that I found on Google. Like I went to like March background pictures, or you can go to, for example, these for like some of my free group stuff were, like I did like fitness background things, like this sort of stuff. Like a lot of these are things that people might use as a background for like a free group slide or something like that. This is the one that I actually have for my banner for our bod group that we have for Thrive, Not Just Survive. So like this is there, and I got this from Google by just going to like fitness background pages. If you're making some other slides that I did, let me just find where. So like other things that I've done, this is the one that we just made for my free group, where I'm actually going to put this in the folder that my team is going to be able to have access to so they can do this. And I keep the same thing every single month. I haven't looked at the chat yet, guys, and so because I have squirrel brain, so I'm not going to be able, I'll answer at the end if those are questions for me, unless you guys are just talking. But so this is something that when I send it to my group, I'm first going to, so that this one for me doesn't get changed or anything, I will go to File, make a copy. Now this I know is like copy of copy, or I can say, I can change it up here. Like, I'll write PF for Passion Fit Crew Team Free Group Slides. Okay, so now I know this is what I want to send to them. If I want to share it, I will make it so that they can edit it. I will copy the link, and then I can go to my email and I can either email them this link, and when they get this link, they'll be able to click on it and do the same exact thing. They will click it, they'll go to make a copy, and then they'll be able to change it themselves. So every single month, I'm like, okay, this one, maybe I want to start changing the background of it. This is also, again, where you put in your brand and what you want to do with like your text and things like that. I like to keep things uniform. So like if I'm using this text here, I'm going to be using it throughout. If I'm using this text also, I'm going to be using it throughout. So like this is what we did for our free group for this past month. We did like a peek at the schedule, and like these are the sort of things where you would come in and I totally forgot about the line height, and I was trying forever to try to fit it, and I totally don't like kicking myself. But this is where you would come in and like where you can fit these things, and you can try to, you know, change the line height. This is where, you know, if you wanted this word or this one thing to be a different color, you change the color. But this is also like you leave spaces because you're thinking in your head, right? You're using this for Instagram stories. So you're going to put a poll box in there. Like this is where I would say, like, what do you think? And this is where I would say, like, on the poll, like, I'm in, or message me the link or whatever. this one, message me to join. I could put, you know, like the email drop box below with the question box saying drop your email. But if you don't want this background, you just delete it. Like next month, maybe they want to, you know, do something completely different with theirs, and they do either one that they already have, or you go to photos and you can see ones that will be like, what is next month? April. What would I do as a background for April? I'm going to say rain because I'm thinking of showers, because April showers. So if you wanted it to do that, you would then do this and just, oops. See, if you don't hold it over, it just like comes this image. So I just delete it and I just try it again. Hold it over so it goes like that. Okay, so now I'm like, ooh, that's a little bit too dark. So I'm going to come here, change the transparency of it. Or if you want to keep it like that and then just change the color of your text, nothing that you did font-wise needs to change, but at least now your followers are not seeing the same exact thing that they just saw the month before, because people will realize that. Like and then there's also things like, okay, so here this starts Wednesday. I want to use this color, but obviously it's a little bit too dark for it behind me. So I'm going to go to elements. I'm going to find a shape. I'm going to just make it so that it would go behind it. So now it's right behind there, and I'm going to change that to white. And now it looks like that. And you can change it, you know, this, if you want to change colors for it. And if you wanted to even do it again and have this color, so that, I mean, there's so many different things that you can do in terms of like putting things like leveling it back. So now if I put this back all the way to the back, it's now like blue with the white text. So like you can really like layer things up and really make it your own, which is kind of like what I did with like this here. So this is, I kind of keep the same ones. And like today when I did our shout out for our challenger in our group, I just changed the background. This used to be one of these, like I always try to have it if it's like a fit background. Sorry, I have so many pictures in here. Look, there's Lindsay, she's so cute. Like one of these like fit backgrounds, or there's a bunch of different ones, right? So I've also made my story highlights in here, but you just go in, you just delete it if that doesn't look right to you, hold it over the background, and now it's there. It looks different, but all you have to do now is go in, change your text. Maybe you don't want to use this font anymore, like I just changed it this morning. Maybe now I want to use Moontime again, because I'm all about like a bold and then having like a different kind of color with it. So just go in and you can kind of change things up to match like pictures in the background. If you're not matchy, maybe here you're thinking like, okay, I want to do a circle behind it. So you go and you find that shape. I want to use the same color as the text I use, so I'm going to put that, put it over it, and then you just go to position and put it back, and it goes behind it, and then there's like that circle behind it. Again, this is all about how I'm like crazy OCD too when it comes to certain things like this. Like I like how my images look and things like that. Very clean, or, you know, whatever it is. So like I have these, and I'm actually going to go ahead and undo. You can undo this button up here. You just undo things and it takes them away to back to whatever it was. So I'm going to bring it back to what I had it as, so that the next time I change somebody, maybe I don't want to use this grid anymore. Like maybe the next time I want to make it a little bit more fun. So I go and I look for a new grid to use. And this time I want to use one of these. So I take that one, I delete that one out. And next time the person's face will go in here and it looks completely different just by changing the frame out. So you can do that. I'm trying to think if there's really anything else like this. So this is one that I did in October. I have it labeled as October because I've changed it so many different times, because there's zero reason for you to reinvent the wheel. If you don't want to change this so that you have it for your next October, go to File, make a copy. And then you can change it to, now this is your April one, if you want to get ahead of the game and make one for April. Okay, so now April, I'm going to keep my Thrive Not Survive. I'm going to keep the same sort of font, but I'm obviously not using my Christmas stuff anymore. I'm going to use pink glitter instead. So I'm going to have that back there, way too bright for my liking. I'm going to bring it down, change your fonts, your colors or whatever. Now there's one that's like, here's how we can work on ending 2020 strong. Like, I cannot believe we're already in March and I'm looking at this, but, and then this is exactly what it was. Now it's not my January boot camp. It's my April boot camp. Change whatever your wording is here. All of this membership includes is all still the same. And you can see that's exactly what I have in my March one. Like, this one is, you know how I told you before when you're putting things on stories and it's like one thing shows up and then the next and then the next. So I did it like differently. So like the first one and then this shows up. Membership includes. I just like changed the positioning of it so that it was in a different spot. But all of this stuff is essentially exactly the same. I just have it changed. I've put a number here to match the theme of like what I did here for different ways to join. Now, my second one I was talking about is my 8 a.m. session prep. So I haven't changed any of this stuff. I might have changed the frame out and things like that, but it's here. And then I left space here for me to put one of the polls where it's like, you know, do you want option A, option B, option C, or, you know, D? But again, this is all, you just go in each month and you just change out the backgrounds and things like that. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, in Ashley's Drive, in the Inspiration Google Drive, is where you will find any and everything that you need in terms of, you know, even if there's stuff in here that you guys need to download for, I'm trying to think, or like see things. Like, I know the ones that are popular are the ones for like, what about coaching? Or like I made, a lot of these are ones like this one. I actually, again, like I screenshot a lot of pictures of people's stories, and I use that as inspiration to go and make my own and to use their things. So like, truth time. Have you ever wondered about what it's like to be a wellness coach and you come in here and you change your pictures each time? Maybe you don't. I'm actually really not about this color scheme right now, so I really need to change this before my next coaching session. It's like, it's so crazy how like quickly things change and you're just not into it anymore. Like, I'm not about that font either. So you can go and you can change the things over here if you want to. I'm going to show you how to make like, for example, one of these, like a thing here. Like, I went and I made one day this super simple power hour task. So you just go in, create a design, and now I want to do a presentation. I didn't change or make anything different. I think Caitlin did the same thing when she went to do our team call last time. You just pick one of these and you make it your own. So like here, each of these pages is something new. So my first one, it was power hour, right? And then, you know, whatever I wrote under that, like keep it simple, right? And then I put my team logo down at the bottom, which again, I created here. And if I'm bringing something to another page, you just drag over the whole thing and you copy, and then you bring it back to whatever page it is that you're doing and you just paste it. Now it's here and I can adjust the size of the whole thing and put it down in the corner. So now it's like, all right, this is my team's thing and it's here, right? You can do that for your logo. If you create your logo, I made this logo on Canva, and although over time maybe I'll adjust it or something, it's my little baby that I made 3 years ago. So I'm just going to keep it. But now the next one, okay, you add a page, you come over here and look and see, these are all the ones that are within that same thing. Okay, I like this one next because I want to be able to talk about and just pinpoint like invites, follow-ups, like different things that you would put in your power hour. I'm not going to go through and do each individual thing, but you guys get the idea. You can come in, you don't like this or you do like that. You just really quickly want to change the font of it, do that, make it smaller, move it, you know, over here instead, you know, totally up to you what you want to do with it. But, and you can also, like if you're doing something like Caitlin and I, when we do our calls together, page 1, we can write like, okay, this is going to be Caitlin's page. Page 2, this is going to be Maggie's page. So we know when we're looking at it, and then we go and we share it with each other that it's there. So are there any questions before honestly, I think that's pretty much everything. I would just say the Fit Club poster. And to be honest, guys, go back and look at old ones. Like I still for my, there's somebody waiting for me. I still go back sometimes for even like bod groups to 3 years ago, and I'll look at some of those posts and pull from that content. Don't think like you have to use April 2021's posts. So if April doesn't get loaded until March 31st and you really are somebody like me who's crazy and wants to get it done like 3 weeks ahead of time, go ahead into an old year and try to find like October Fit Club, use some of these and just download them. Like these are what we used to do for, what's it called? For bod group pictures. Like right now, Caitlin and I are making our own, but you know, we're not always going to do that. Or I might be like, oh, that's a cute background. I'll use this. And then I can make it transparent and put my own wording over top of it. Same thing like with these two. So just use what's there. Like do not recreate the wheel for absolutely everything. All right, let me see.
That was really great.
Do you guys have any questions? Olivia, I see you're making that face. Was that for the copy thing? It's totally fine. It's,
yeah.
And especially because I know like you, I think Vanessa had done it from her phone one time too. And it's really not that big a deal. It's just.
I am guilty.
It's just, you know, it's
I think I did it twice though.
Oh, it's okay though.
What?
As soon as it's funny because when you do it once, like I did it once and somebody was like, oh, because like actually whatever it was, I went today to look at one for the March group and I was like, oh, this girl, like it was like the only thing there was whatever this girl changed everything to. So now nobody knows what the original was. And I don't want to message Ashley like, can you get the girl to re-upload the new one? Like it's just a hassle. And I feel like once it happens once or once you know about it once, it's like, okay, you're not going to let it happen again. So just make sure that you try to always remember to make a copy. And plus that way too, like you can then relabel it so that it's yours in your thing. So, and for me, honestly, guys, I'm going to show you real quick what my very first ones looked like. You guys can still see my page, right? So like mine now have definitely changed. Like this is like, I made this and this is like what I send to my customers when they sign up. But like, and I, you know, girls on my team, you guys have access to this. So you can go in and all you have to do is change out your picture, change your name. I mean, if you don't like this font, change it. You can, this is the same. If yours isn't Thrive, Not Survive, change that text. Change this little picture here. Everything else can stay exactly how it is. But then this, so happy to have you here. Like I made it so it's kind of like universal, but I made this so that the people can have it. But again, this is all things like just taking a rectangle, putting it here, and then using the transparency thing and making it, you know, smaller. This is a Google image of prep containers. This is a picture of something from the Fixate in one of those like meshy looking image things. So you will get better at using it, you know, when you go. And then girls, you would just have to also change your name and your email here. And if you wanted to put a different picture, you could, but like, you know, sometimes I'm like, oh, I've used that picture a lot and I'll change it. But it's really just trying things. And then this was, I'm just going to show you down my very first couple ones that I made are so bad. Like, look at the difference here. This was me like trying to find, just
I remember those days. I remember those.
Lindsay's probably in and on one of these. Like I used to use these for my bod things. Like how boring are some of these? Like this was my check-in. I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I thought it was awesome putting these little check marks for everything. But like here, like these photo challenges, once I figured out the transparency thing, I was like, yes, what can I make transparent? So, yeah, but like all of this stuff, like we made all these different things, new coach mentorship, and it just like talks about the, you know, different things. Like you can see, like I've made so many like cover photos like this to me. It just like cracks me up, even like the difference between some of these things here. But yeah, like you'll just, again, like this is something here, one of these, like I'll be like, oh, maybe these are like announcements coming up. Maybe I'll go in, but this is something that was found over here when I did text. Where is it? It was just like right there. Like I didn't have to do anything other than change it. And I just changed out the words. Like these were already there. I did this. And then these were all things that Ashley was talking about when we did it. Like talking about bod groups, talked about when McFerry came out, you know, like all these different things. And it's just, you know, it's so simple for you to be able to do, and then you do it and you leave like little text spots for text and things like that. How do you add challenger? So what I do is I just go to in our bod group, like for example, Leanne, that's your girl, Olivia, isn't it, Leanne?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I just go to the participant, because you can, like, when you go into the bod group, you can go to participants and all their names are there. So like if it's not one of my girls, where like obviously everybody has a picture here anyway, but like say I wanted to do one for Christina, I would go to her picture, and if I don't have one already, I just right click it, and I save the image as Christina. So if I did Christina, save it. And like I said, it's so much easier to do all of this on your computer and rather than doing it on your phone. And then you come up to wherever your thing is for your challengers and say, like, if we do for March, like I just would go to this one where she was, I would just take it out, put her picture. Oh, because I copied it. And you just drag it into there and it's there. And then you just change out. And this would just say her name afterwards. And then again, like this is the color behind it. I don't want that color anymore. I want the dark one, and I don't want this one. I want that one. And it's like, you know, you just go through. And this is one, okay, so this is one where it's not a color that you can change. Oh, psych, I lied. Never mind, it is. I thought it was one that you had to use an effect. Let me try to find the one that has an effect. So I think it's this one where these are like my new coach ones, and I need to make new ones of these because they shouldn't be an Instagram story style. They should be a post style. So like this here, the color that's back here, so this, if it's in the way, you just move it. This doesn't have an option to change the color. This is where I would go in and go to the filter, and this is where like you have to like randomly move around and find what color works for you and change it like this or like that, whatever. But I got this from somebody else that I made a copy of, and this is actually the person who I didn't make a copy, and she was like, you just changed all of my new coach stuff to your team. And I was like, I'm so sorry. So yeah, so this was Meg actually, and Kaylin. So like all of her stuff, I felt so bad. Actually, probably some of her things, hey girl. Some of her things, like, look here, this is like what she did. So this is sort of stuff, and this is things like I want and will start doing soon with my team, is like each month talking about like, you know, success club points. But like this is just so simple. Like the name is here, and like I'm going to keep the colors because again, these are ones that you can't change. It would just be changing like the things for. But again, if I don't want this picture, I just hit delete, and then the new picture, you know, you just go to your upload and say Leanne is the one who got it, then her picture would just go there instead. So these were all things that she did. But you can do like pictures in the background, and then those pictures can be transparent. Like there's literally so much you can do with it. And the Canva Pro, I know, gives you options. This probably is part of it, Canva Pro. If you download something that is Canva Pro and you do not have it, there will be these like crisscross lines through it. Just delete it and get one that's free. Unless you want to pay for it. But I'm not there yet. Anyway, I'm all about keeping it free for as long as possible. Does anyone have questions, or do you guys, yeah, I mean, there's so many free options, Lindsay, and if there's not a free option, go to Google and get the image that you want. Like if you're looking for, I don't know. I just thought of our last team call where I randomly was talking about ukuleles. If you want a ukulele in the background, I know Lindsay's cracking up. Go and just Google ukulele, because Canva will likely not have that in their, you know, photo album. But you can, I don't even know how to spell ukulele. There it is. So maybe they do have one. Cool. So you can just take that and put it in the background. But if they didn't have that, just go to Google and you can find it there. But like these, if you find one that isn't free and you're like, ooh, I like those, like colored guitar, like that looks really good for my summer vibe one that you have coming up, go to Google and just type in colorful guitar, find one, download it, and put it in however it is that you feel like you're using it. Do you guys want to take like 5 minutes to try yourself right now and do something? Or like I can drop in here a a link for a copy of something and you guys can try to like change something around if you want to, or are you guys good to go and you don't want to do that? It's totally up to you. I didn't realize it was 9:16. Sorry, guys. I mean, I feel like everyone, if you have your coach that can send you something, like my girls, you guys, I'm gonna tomorrow, when I'm supposed to be doing my work at school, but we have a training instead during my training, I'm gonna put in the Google Doc a bunch of different things like this, so that when you guys get new coaches, you'll just have this and you can make your own templates. Or things like, I know you guys have the free group that I sent you guys images of, but I'm gonna give you this so that you can do that. Oh, and speaking of free group really quick, my girls, excuse me, this month and moving forward, we are moving to BOD groups for our free group. We're not doing it on Facebook anymore, just because so many people don't have Facebook, and it's a really good way to tell them, you're welcome, Hillary, to tell them and show them exactly what BOD groups is about. So when you guys are inviting, and I'm probably going to try to make that on our slides, like Amber and I are going to fill that out, and like I'll send it to you guys, a copy of it, so you guys can see it. But it's going to be very much like that. Everything in a BOD group, the workout will be posted in the morning. It's going to be exactly the same as it is in the free group, except it's going to be run in BOD groups. They don't have to put in any card information because they're just going to be getting Vimeo links for the workouts. So you guys don't have to worry about them like being worried about putting in card information or anything like that. So
they'll still be able to access the app even though they're not like a member?
Yeah, they're just going to get, so like what we'll do is when we create it, we'll make, all of you guys will be like what part of the admin. And then when you're admin, you'll just be able to send them an email. Like you can send them the link that says, or, you know, welcome to our free group here, and they'll join. And once they're in, they're just going to see the post as if normal. Like they're not going to, it's not going to be any other thing like that. It'll just be exactly what it was in the free group. Like the morning post will be there pinned, check in here when you're done, you know, and then I think what we're going to do, I'm not going to do a 5 p.m. post. We're just going to do random ones like this person checked in twice this week, or like a files, like don't forget the file section is here, and we're going to put a couple different things in the file section. Hey, little man, you're up late. He's like, hi. I know I am. Hi.
Well, I think that's
too, and helpful. Like will not sleep.
Oh. You think what, Vanessa?
I think that having the free group in the BOD app is going to be pretty helpful, because I did invite some people for the last free group that we had, and they're like, oh, I don't have Facebook. So I ended up just sending the link for the workouts and stuff.
That's what I had done a couple times too, where I tried to make like an Instagram thread with like the 4 people, but it's just not the same. And this is a good way for them to be like, you can be like, this is the platform that we use every single day. This is how we check in with our girls. This is where you can track your measurements. This is where you can track your pictures. This is where you'll have your file section with all the recipes and the meal plans and things like that. So we will have the meal plans in there. The only problem is that we have a lot of people in that free group on Facebook right now, like from over time, but there's also a lot of people that are completely inactive, like not doing anything when they're in there. So somebody new, and Amber said this to me, she was like, somebody new might go in there and be like, oh, there's 120 people in here. That's amazing. Like, I can't wait to be, you know, have so many people like being supportive and encouraging. And then they do it, and literally nobody except for like the 5 or 6 of us in it are, you know, responding to them. So then that could be discouraging too. So what I'm going to do is go into the Facebook group probably next week at some point, and I'm going to go live or put a video up that just says, you know, we're going over to this platform. If you're interested, drop your email below, and your coach who added you in here, or reach out to your coach or whatever that added you in here. And if you want to come to the new group, then do that. And if not, this group is going to be wiped. Like, it's just going to be cleared out. So if you know anyone that was in the free group, go to the participants or the people who are in there, scroll through it, and anyone that you know that you added in there that did not join, just message them and be like, hey, I just wanted to let you know personally that we're going over to BOD groups. This is the platform that we use daily. And just kind of go from there and see if they are interested in going over to check it out in BOD groups. And it's completely free, and it's going to be a full week this time. It's not going to be 3 days. Normally we would do 3 days, but Amber was like, why don't we try every single month to do a full week so that they can really get, like, we'll do prep Sunday, a full week. which means, and I dropped the ball on this last time. So if it's prep is the 14th, this upcoming Monday, you should start inviting people so that the people that you invite on Monday or Tuesday and they say yes or maybe, you actually have time to follow up with them. Like I was inviting, I didn't start until Thursday, and it was like, or I didn't start until like Sunday night or Monday morning for a group that started on Tuesday. And it was so stupid because I was like, hey, do you want to join? And then I didn't even have time to like follow up with anybody because it was just too close of time. So that was my fault in terms of like the planning aspect of it. But you guys all have the calendar. You guys all know what the team calendar says. So just take a look at it and just know to invite to it early. Anyone have questions? No? I feel like everyone right now is having really awesome hair days, just FYI. Like everyone.
Oh my God, I wish.
No, everyone, seriously. I'm like, Vanessa, your hair right now is like so curly coming off
the
your face.
lighting in the room.
So nice.
I just told Johnny, I'm like, I look like I'm wearing lipstick. And he looks at me, he's like, no, you don't. I'm like, okay, it's the lighting and the camera.
No, you definitely do. But and your hair has like such like a nice little like glow to it right there.
I was gonna say you're glowing.
It's that pregnancy glow.
It's that glow, exactly. I'm glowing and I'm growing.
Erin, what is that door behind you?
Beautiful.
So I wanted a headboard, but not like I didn't want to deal with it. So there's two of them.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. I was like, what is that creepy door behind Erin? Those are cute though.
I needed something because our bedroom is so big, and I was like, I didn't want the headboard, so I went for the rustic, country.
I love them. I love them. Just seeing one of them, I was very confused.
Oh wait, I'm gonna stop recording.